Welcome back. We're on page 11 today. This actual problem was something we didn't quite do during the year, but I kept it in because I thought it was good for you to see. So here we have a system. We haven't done too terribly much with systems this year, but you did do a lot in Algebra 1. And you will see it again in pre-calc. So we have a y equals 3x minus 2, and then we have this circle, x squared plus y squared equals 116. So if you remember from Algebra 1, we're going to take that y equals part, the 3x minus 2, and we're going to plug it in here, the y equals. So I'm going to just start by rewriting my equation. X squared plus y squared equals 116. Then in place of the y, I'm going to put 3x minus 2. So then I have x squared plus the quantity 3x minus 2 squared equals 116. From here, you know everything to do. It's just a matter of being patient and going step by step. So I have my x squared. Because this quantity is squared, it's really 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2 equals 116. So I have to do double distribution on those two binomials. So I get 9x squared minus 6x minus 6x plus 4 equals 116. So because we have an x squared, what I'm going to do is get this side equal to 0. And at the same time, I'm going to combine all my like terms. So I have 10x squared minus 12x minus 112 equals 0. Now at this point, oh boy, I'm running out of room already. I could take out a GCF and factor, which I'll do, but when the only GCF I could take out is a 2. So I might just say I'm going to use quadratic formula. Okay. I'm going to factor because I think it's something that we need to review. So here we go. I'm going to take out my 2 because that's the biggest number that goes into all of those. So I have 5x squared minus 6x minus 56 equals 0. And now I have to group. Since it's a trinomial, I have to split. So two numbers that multiply to, I think it's like 250 or something, and add up to negative 6, I get negative 20x plus 14x. Full disclosure, I'm just copying this part from my key. 5x squared. It's a little early. I don't want to think too much. So I'm going to bring this 2 down because we are still factoring. Here's my GCF. So I'm going to move into this bottom section. So my GCF is 5x here, and I'm left with x minus 4. And this I can take out of 14, and I'm left with x minus 4 equals 0. So I'm just going to factor everything. I have my GCF of 2, 5x plus 14 times the quantity x minus 4 equals 0. Yikes. So now I don't have to worry about setting 2 equals 0 because it is just a constant. You can't solve for 2. 5x plus 14 equals 0. So when I solve that, I minus 14 and divide by 5, and I get x equals negative 14 over 5. And then I set x minus 4 equal to 0, and I get x equals 4. So when you have a system, you solve for x, and then you have to solve for y. The extra treat in this one is we have two x values, so we have to solve them both for y. So I'm going to come back up here and pick an equation. I'm picking the first one because there's no exponents. You can pick either one and it will work just fine, but we've already done a lot of work. No need to cause yourself extra work. So if y equals 3x minus 2, I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to do x equals negative 14 over 5. I keep picking the blue, but I don't want it to interfere. Let's go green. So I'm going to plug this in for x. Y equals 3 times negative 14 over 5 minus 2. So you get y equals negative 52 over 5. So that's one of our answers. Negative 14 over 5, negative 52 over 5. Well, that's some point to plot. Okay, there's one answer. Now, just when you think you're done, we have to plug in 4, because that's our other equation. I'll go orange with this one. So we have y equals 3x minus 2, and I'm just going to be a little bit lazy here and plug the 4 in like that. So 3 times 4 is 12, 12 minus 2, y equals 10. So here we have the point 4, 10. Let's see if I can zoom in. That is how you solve a system. Aren't you glad we didn't make you do it the whole year? All right. So my graphics got a little bit messed up here. The question is right here, and then we have a and b. We can work with that though. It says if f of x equals negative x squared plus 5x plus 24 and g of x equals 2x minus 64, then do the following. So part A says algebraically solve for all values of x for which, okay, graphics went away, f of x equals g of x. So hopefully on your paper, it says when this equals this. Show your work. Show how you arrive at your answer. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. Negative x squared plus 5. Okay, we got an exponent. I'm going to set one side equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract on both sides. And that goes away. So what I end up with is, I could have subtracted the other side. I'm just so used to bringing everything to the left. Plus 3x. Now we can work with this. I don't like the negative, so I'm just going to factor that out like a GCF. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 88 equals 0. So that does factor. Bring down my GCF so I don't forget. Multiply negative 88, add up to negative 3. So we have x minus 11, x plus 8. You can't set negative 1 equal to 0 because it's not equal to 0. So I do x minus 11 equals 0, and I get x equals 11. X plus 8 equals 0, so I have x equals negative 8. So my two answers, the two functions are equal when x equals negative 8 and x equals 11. And now part B, we are asked to graph this. So what would happen is the first graph, our parabola, would look like this. And I'm going to label that f of x. And my second line would look like that. And I'm going to label that g of x. You could put the entire equation if you want, but I don't really feel like it. So what you have to do, that I'm going to leave this for you guys to practice if you're interested, you have to figure out what numbers to make your scale. Right now it's blank. So on my calculator, I would look on the tables and I would change my window to 15 and negative 15. And up here, we're at about 100. And then I'm going to do a negative 100 here. We haven't had to do much of this because so much of our work has been on Delta Math. It was kind of done for us. So here I'm going to plot my two answers. Negative 8. When you plug in a negative 8, the y value is 80. If you look that up on a table on your graphing calculator, you would get the same thing. And this is 11, negative 42.